everybody. Welcome to Arsenal Fan Circle. Welcome to the Sunday Show. Two things happened at once today. We are live right now, and Arsenal are top of the league. Yes, both things can be true at the same time. Welcome, everybody, as you all fill in and join us here. Let's go, says BX Gunner. Definitely, let's go. Come on. I think we're getting used to being top of the league, and then we drop out for a week, and Liverpool take over. And then we hear Liverpool fans celebrating the fact that we are top of the league. So come on, get in there, enjoy it. We're top of the league. Little bit of housework to talk about with the Liverpool United game. So we'll talk about that quickly before we get into the actual Arsenal game. And save the drama for Cover Kai. Mr. Tom said, good evening, Ray. Congratulations on the win. And yeah, I'll be going for about 90 minutes here. I'll give you a little bit of a break to join Tom at 9 p.m. UK time and also 4 p.m. Eastern time. I understand he will be reviewing two Leeds games at the same time, but neither one of them are wins. So, Tom, let's hope Leeds fix up a little bit and maintain that third place position at least, if not second, and solidify that playoff position, which I know you're not hopeful about as well. But you never know. Leeds could come back. Leeds could come back after only being one season away from the Premier League. Who wants to be in the Premier League? I suppose we want to be in the Premier League. But if Arsenal fans were annoyed with Martinelli getting sent off a couple of seasons ago for 2 yellow card offenses, I gotta voice my opinion on Dalot, and I don't agree with a player being given 2 yellow cards in consecutive on a consecutive phase of play. You're supposed to administer the yellow cards as a warning to the player. You have one more chance, and I believe the player should be allowed that leeway to understand you're on a caution and be good for the rest of the game. Don't get another yellow card. Dalot obviously was handed out 2 yellow cards in quick succession within seconds of each other. And I think Michael Oliver and the PGMOL once again covered themselves in disaster in that game against Man United. We've had a lot of incidents again today as well. Yes, the Assemble said good evening, everyone. The Premier League isn't for everyone, Mr. Tom. But Mr. Tom, you'll be welcome back. People who hate Leeds will have a great time. Exactly. And it's a little bit of a rivalry going on. I think if you give the player a warning and they continue, then they have it coming. Yeah. But don't tell me that it's about bad language. It's about mouthing off, because we know the game is not. We know the players will use choice words in the course of the game and in the course of the passion within the game. Dalot was trying to win a ball ahead of Mo Salah. He won the contest, I believe, and you're disputing a throw-in in the dying seconds of the game. And Michael Oliver's got to take a moment there. I thought he officiated the game pretty well. Denied silly appeals for a penalty with the handball from Shaw, and had a strong game right until the end. And maybe Man United can appeal that, but I don't know what's going to happen. But again, you've got to give the player an opportunity to know he's on his first yellow card before you do give him that second card. So we felt aggrieved as Arsenal fans with Martinelli getting 2 yellow cards, and Man United. It's their problem. It's not our problem. I'm not a Manchester United fan. The only part that I'm happy about is that Liverpool did not get the 3 points that a lot of people predicted. And I was looking at Man United's record earlier today, and they either won or lost games, all of their Premier League games. So, law of averages here. Kick in, please. Law of averages. And we ended up with a 0-0 draw. Liverpool hugely frustrated. They didn't get the full 3 points to go back to the top of the league. And we have this big contest next Saturday where we will go to Anfield and play Liverpool. I'm sure we will play a different Liverpool to the one that played today. Every performance is different. But, if they play if they play in the same style and spirit as they did today, Arsenal will go there with a very, very good chance of beating them, let alone just taking a point. I know Liverpool have a very, very good record at Anfield, stretching over, I believe, 49 games. So it'll be difficult to go there, but we can talk about that for another day. Gary has joined me here, so thank you, Gary, for anchoring me.
Yeah. Sorry about the lateness. I was sitting here waiting for the link, and I got distracted. Next thing I know, 20 minutes has gone by.
I welcome, Gary. I got distracted by the Liverpool United game, and thankful, happy that Liverpool didn't do what we thought they would do.
Oh. Thanks for having me on, everybody in the chat. Thanks for joining me. Big Gunner, Mr. Tom. Who's that guy? The Assemble's joined. Yeah.
So we were talking about Dallo and what happened with Martinelli to us a few seasons ago.
Yeah.
I believe they have to look at this rule and at least give a player an opportunity to know they're on one yellow card before you do 1-2 quick succession.
Yeah. That yes. I mean, even if they did have that rule, I think that was. I mean, it wasn't called. It didn't need to be a red card. It didn't need to be a second yellow. You let the man, cool off after going a little bit mad. You gave him the yellow. You have a yellow coming, right? After that, you let him simmer, and calm down a little bit.
He just ran 40 yards, Gary. He just ran 40 yards to beat Mo Salah to a ball and contested the throw in.
Yes.
Yes.
So I don't know. Was he in the right in the terms of that call should have went his way and he actually did a good defensive job, or did he actually touch it?
Well, I think irrespective. I mean,
no, but that makes it that will actually create a situation that wasn't warranted if the call was not made. It should have been correct. If he thinks it was a correct call and it was a correct call, but it wasn't called in his favor, then yes, he's going to be upset.
Yeah.
Like if they go back and look at it now and they see, look, that actually was out on Liverpool, right? Yeah. So then he's justified in his feelings that he got robbed there, right? The way he performed it is incorrect, but you got it wrong, which they won't say. The problem is they won't say we got it wrong. We got the call wrong. No, you know what? Then maybe they couldn't get the call right because they could never have been in that position to see that it didn't. They made a judgment call based on what they saw.
Mr. Todd said, I once ran 42 yards to make it onto the trip on time. Why is this relevant to anything? I like stories.
Yeah. No, I am. Like I said, I kind of felt like he. I think at some point there's got to be a little bit of common sense. He is going to respond to that late in the game when he's when a team is holding on. Like game state makes a difference. Yeah. If they're down 3-0, he doesn't care.
Yep.
If they're up 3-0, he doesn't care. Right? Because at that point, the game pretty much could be over. But this is a 0-0 game. Tensions are high. Every call you make makes a difference. Right?
100%.
You have to.
I thought the referee had a good game. Liverpool United game. I thought
as a whole, as a whole, I don't think we weren't talking about the official. What's crazy is you have Mike Oliver on the pitch, and you have the other guy on the fourth official, who also for me is like one I think we all blow up on sometimes when he referees games. I don't forget his. I don't know the names. I don't want to know their officials' names.
Yeah, you shouldn't.
Then I don't want I don't want to be in that situation. So.
The only referee that I wanted to know his name was Pierluigi Collina, way back 30 years ago, because he had absolute authority and he controlled games. And
well, I think there's his authority, and then there's like your consistency. I think the consistency gets you the authority, but when you're so inconsistent, people are like, I don't trust you, right? If I don't trust you, then it's hard for me to give you any authority on this game because 9 times out of 10, I think you got it wrong. Or 5 times out of 5, you get it right, and the other 5, you're not saying my bad, you know, or they're not fixing it, right? They're not even fixing it. So that's the other part. So
Moss I think this is Moss here. It's Batsky Gunnar as he changes. He's kept his hard, but changed his name here. Sorry, dude, fell red zone thing. I thought for sure lots of goals in United at Liverpool, but 0-0. You know, 7-0 last year, Gary, and United came back and they were determined not to let that happen. They were dangerous on the break as well.
Yeah, they were wasteful. Yeah, they were wasteful, and that's a good thing for them because it means they're actually creating something. But they had multiple opportunities to score. Tayyib, welcome to the show. Yeah.
Hi, Ray. Hi, Gary. Hope you're both doing great. Yeah, we are. We're enjoying life now, Gary. We're back on top of that table. Didn't feel right the last week we weren't there.
Yeah, that's all strange. Yeah.
I had George Graham ringing in my ears. We're not second bottom. We're second top. Well, now we're top. You know?
Yeah, no, and you know what? I think this is the kind of season where you just can't. You got to be on it. If you can be on it for 100%, perfect. But we all can't do that. So you're gonna have some ups and downs, as you say, roller coaster. But I like our roller coaster just kind of doing one of these.
Yeah.
And then, as opposed
not
to
too many.
No big dips.
No big dips. We can go up pretty fast if we want to. Yeah. So look, that's Liverpool, and we'll talk about Liverpool through the week here as we get ready for this clash at Anfield, and I'll go there, compete against Liverpool. I don't believe Liverpool are the best team in the land, and I've went early with this, Gary. A few weeks ago against Wolves, I'm already trying to celebrate Arsenal winning the league 6 months early. And look, I might get egg on my face on this one, but there's some deficiencies in that Liverpool team. I think they have recovered from last year really well, where I predicted they would have a difficult season without remodeling their midfield. They did it this past summer. They remodeled their midfield, and they're a pretty decent team. But I just think at the end, it's going to be a close fight because Liverpool have been there, done that, and Arsenal have yet to prove that, Gary.
Yeah. No. I always said the way that they finish off the season, they kind of, to some degree, means that they're getting back into a form that can compete with the rest of with City. I mean, everybody's trying to catch up to City. We tried, but they have, as I said, they've got world-class players. Right? With Salah and Van Dijk and Allison. So that's, no matter how depleted they are in terms of talent and players on their squad, they have those three, which I think is good. That's what you need. If you can't fill out your squad with top players all over the place, then if you have some of the best out there playing, right, you got a good advantage. So, yeah.
Type said, Ray, it looks like it might be a close title fight this year. I think it will be. It'll be nip and tuck, as they say. You got to live. If you're a Liverpool fan, Gary, you got to say to yourself, "Wow, City are struggling," and then you look around and you look at this Arsenal team. We're pretty decent as well.
Yep. We're doing what we need to do, for sure. Yeah, we're doing good.
A lot of Liverpool fans believe Arsenal will fall away. I mean, evidenced on what we've done the last couple of seasons, but I got a couple of stats here to bring to you, Gary, in this banner here. We'll talk about this last season. So last season, this is interesting, Gary. Last season, our first 16 games, we shot out of the cannon. We started off really fast. Our first 16 games, we drew one and lost one, so we ended up with 43 points after 16 games. In the final, the next 22 games, we actually got less than 43. So in 16 games, we got more points than we got in 22 games for the second half of the season. 43 points versus 41. We ended up on 84. Listen, I think it's a marathon, not a sprint, and the control and balance of the way Arsenal have modified the way they're playing has allowed us now this season, the first 16 games, we've got 36 points. Add in today's win as well, we got 39 games in the first 17, or 39 points in the first 17. So what I'm basically saying here, Gary, is the thing that we've talked about all season is slow and steady wins the race.
Mm-hmm.
And it now the next 22 games or next 21 games really, really count in terms of getting closer to 50 points, let's say.
Yeah,
You
I
know?
hear you, but I also, as I'll say, I want to think this way. One more match. Just got one more match.
Mm-hmm.
The most important thing is the next match, which is it is, and this one, the next match is preparing for Liverpool. So
But
if
you
you
can see
if you
how.
do if you do like talking about points and all of that means I'm looking like ahead. You know, we're sitting top of the table right now, so it doesn't matter what the points are, right? We're sitting what 5 points ahead of City. So if you want to go in that margin, that's good.
Mm-hmm.
But we're
Yep.
sitting top of the league. We knew it wasn't going to be easy. These things aren't easy. A team will come out of nowhere and maybe surprise you. I mean, like Villa is sitting right there. You used to say they
Mm-hmm.
don't just continue to play the way they are, um, and uh, and put pressure on everybody. So now you've got four teams you have to deal with, right? So,
Yep.
and then that team is still within striking distance to make a difference. So I think there's looks like there's three teams, but I have a feeling that the next three teams behind them, behind us or whatever, have a part to play in this, because either they will steal points from someone, or that when they want, you're not expecting it, or they will just continue to play well and be part of the discussion. So
Yep.
you're gonna have to play one game at a time, for us anyways, and you got to get lucky, right? Uh,
Um, yeah,
we're,
definitely. Good question here. Iconoclast put a good question in there for me. With
mm,
real honesty, Ray, what do you believe Arsenal will do given your recent experience of Arsenal under this management? So it's a combination of the manager and it's a combination of players. I say that, I maintain that all the time. If it's just under management, if we had the same players we had last season just under this manager, I think we'd fall short of Liverpool if we had the same players we had last season. We've picked up a couple of decent players, Gary, and Declan Rice. We haven't really seen Yuri and Timber. We've been unfortunate with injuries there, but Declan Rice, and I'm quietly happy with Havertz and the progress he's made in the last 10 games. So Iconoclast, that's all I'm saying is I think we picked up the premium number 6 in the Premier League this summer.
I,
Liverpool
yeah,
Liverpool missed out on Caicedo. They missed out on Lavia, and they picked up Endo, which not a lot of people knew about Endo. I didn't even know about him. So Gary, what are your thoughts?
yeah, no. If we're gonna go on recent experience and kind of what we've done in the past, we've continually been improving each year. So why not expect the same thing here? So I think, and I've said it at the beginning of the season, we're looking for us to compete on multiple fronts. So with that requires a little bit more spreading of your um, spreading your resources to the fullest. So if we were not to win, but we are able to compete on multiple trophies, then I think we've done much better than
Mm-hmm.
we've done in the last 5-6 years. So, and I think it's hard to compete for one and not for others because you're gonna go further in the cup championships, those extra games. So
Yeah.
you have to be able to have a squad that can build towards that for me. So yeah, no, I expect us to improve from where we were last season based on the trend we're on.
Mm-hmm.
So we should be moving, we should be competing for the league, and we should be getting deep in some of these cup tournaments so we can win trophies there. Um, that's kind of how I think we need to play this thing, because
Yep.
the more games we have, that means the bigger the squad needs to be. That means hopefully the more dependent you are on the entire squad, not just your first 11, 13 players. So Arteta is going to have to learn this thing, and so I expect us to do better than last season. Now, does that mean a trophy is guaranteed? No, I don't think. But that might mean you just go deeper in the FA Cup, go deeper in the
And
Champions
even
League than you expected. You know.
yeah, I don't know. No manager will guarantee that you can win trophies, but what Pep will try to guarantee, and Jurgen Klopp will try to guarantee, is that they will be in contention for these
Yeah.
trophies, and they will fight for them. Russ said ratings we would fall short if Xhaka was still here. That's a hot take. I just said based on the team that we had last season, I feel much more comfortable with the players that we brought in. Would I love to have a Granit Xhaka sitting on the bench that if we have injuries to Partey or Declan Rice that we could bring a Granit Xhaka in, or we could continue playing Granit Xhaka at left eight? I would, of course, love that. But I just think that Partey and Xhaka from last season, bringing Rice in, and maybe putting Havertz in the conversation as well. There's a conversation to be had there whether Partey Xhaka is better than Rice and Havertz. What do you think, Gary?
Yeah. No, I think if you had Jaka, then you would have here is how I want things to be, and then you would have an Havertz who would come in and try to deceive him on the pitch, right, and try and take his spot.
Yeah,
That's kind of how that
dethrone
should
him.
have. That's how that's supposed to work, right? You just come in. You don't just get that position, right? You work out and practice, and things change as they're supposed to. Like if Rice came in and wasn't playing well, you shouldn't expect him to just start because he was Rice from last season. If he's not working out in practice, that means something you're saying isn't working. So, and we've seen Rice actually, I believe, do what Arteta wants. So,
Mm-hmm.
Xhaka would have, for me, would have been the same thing. I don't think either. I don't think he wanted to compete for it. He probably didn't think he needed to. Didn't want to kind of go out that way. You know what I mean? He probably
Yeah,
wants to walk off. You know,
one
sometimes
on
you
his
just want to
terms.
go off on your own terms. Meaning, I
Yeah,
don't want to be pushed to the bench.
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
don't want to have to compete for a spot like each week. You know.
I wonder if there's some part of Granit Xhaka because I think his wife had a big part to play in this. There was
Mm,
some kind of a promise made that they would go back to Germany at some point, like a
mm,
date set. I wonder if Xhaka, although he's loving life in Germany right now, I think they're doing well and flying high with Bayer Leverkusen. I
mm-hmm.
think they're top of the league. Would Granit Xhaka will obviously be watching Arsenal's results and be supporting what the players are doing. Iconoclast said we fell short of our targets over the last two seasons became of inept man management because
Yep.
of inept man management, bad tactics and terrible buying and selling of players, in my opinion. I also feel a little bit like Gary. We last season we weren't meant to, strictly speaking, be challenging for a title, and the season before that we weren't really meant to be in the top four. We fell short of first place last season. We fell short of fourth place the season before. But I also feel like we overachieved a little bit. So when your team overachieves and you don't get your targets, it feels inept in some way. I'm not saying Mikel Arteta is free from blame because there was mistakes made last season. There were mistakes made the season before, but that's just my take. What do you think, Gary?
No, I think. Oh, I think some of the things we saw were definitely an experience by the manager, and either a stubbornness not to listen to others, or he doesn't have the right support. You know, there's lots of things that go into that. Because there were different times you looked at a game state, and you went, maybe we need to make a sub here earlier. Maybe we need to make a change in a different, formation, whatever the case may be. And he was slow to do that, and we missed out on some opportunities, right? Or would make some really strange decisions in games. I mean, you can pick any one, but I think all of that's that's all inexperience of a manager there, and I would and maybe not having that enough support on the sidelines to maybe or trust in those who are telling him what to do.
Hmm.
We don't know any of that stuff, so we can only take what we see and assume all of this is going through Arteta. So some of his decisions are are an issue. Players that probably needed to be rotated weren't, and you paid for it late in the season because they couldn't give not all the players you wanted. You couldn't depend on them anymore. So that's all on Arteta. We needed to have a deeper bench. We to some degree have that in certain spots, but not all of them. We still have some serious concerns if when we get to the late part of this season and we're going to have to depend on certain players, will they be available physically, mentally, and all of that stuff,
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
it will be interesting to
You're
see how that
calling
all
out
works.
Thomas Partey, probably in particular. You're thinking about there, right?
Well, no, we know what part. No, that's not a surprise. We knew, like for me, for what the last 3 seasons, Partey has not been able to give it to us for a whole season. So that's not a surprise. So with that information, you don't need to go, well, this season it'll work. No, it didn't work the last 3. There's nothing to say it will work this time. So you needed to manage the situation better, and we managed it terribly. Managed it terribly. He should not be playing right back. If he's going to play, he should play in his preferred position, and he should be rotated in and out of the lineup where need fit.
So
Right?
I feel like there was a few candidates for that job over the last season. Ben White was tried in as an inverted
Mm,
fullback. Thomas
yeah.
Partey was tried as an inverted fullback. And I think during the Lens Champions League game 6-0 and a couple of other games, I think against Wolverhampton Wanderers, Tomiyasu was tried in that right back
Hmm.
inverted. And I think Tomiyasu was the best of all three that were tried in that position. He tried Partey and it didn't work for me as that inverted fullback. Um, Russ does not consider Partey as a first team squad member anymore, and due to his injury, that's probably a fair comment as well. You know,
Yep.
I kind of last said, Ray, opportunities come up and you have to take it. Winning mentality is within you, and it's not something you learn, but something you can improve. I
Yep.
kind of disagree. The big teams win something only after they have a heartache of losing.
That doesn't
Liverpool
necessarily
lost.
true because if that was the case, then you wouldn't have teams like Leicester City who just come out of nowhere and get wins. Because no, they didn't go into that season thinking, well, let's see if we get an opportunity. No, they went in that season playing. We're going to play some really try to play some really good football, and an opportunity came, right, for them to actually continue to play well, and they did, right. So for if you're going like
There's an example.
what a kind of class
Well,
says there is
yeah.
something I do believe in. That's almost like saying you have as a bad defensive play by the defender. Now you've got a one-on-one with the keeper, right? Do you take the chance or do you like pull it back like your manager says and let's go for let's build this thing up again from the back? No, you take the opportunity in front of you and you attack that goal. That's the same thing that happens in a season. You have an opportunity to what? Either go further in a turner in a cup and you don't take it. Like a player, for example, goes down injured, that could affect the way their opponents play against you, and you don't take advantage of that. You don't attack their weaknesses, and you pay for it. That's on
I
you.
hear you. I hear what you're saying, but also there are examples of teams who have not gotten over the line one season and take that experience into the next season.
Yeah, but if
And
you don't take the
beyond.
experience, it will never come. Like if you have an opportunity to take it and you fail, yes. But if you don't even take it, then you didn't learn anything. You didn't take a chance, right? We need to win this game, and it's important that we win this game. And we know we have another game right afterwards. What do we do? Oh, we just play it by ear. And you know what? We're just gonna substitution like we always do, even though we don't need to this time, and then see how it goes. And then you fail at it. You never even tried to get the win that was in your face. You know what I mean? That's where I think that's why opportunities are a key to this. Yeah, I think that's what you need to do. Take advantage. If you don't, then last season we had an advantage. We had an opportunity to go in there. We knew what we need to do with 10 games left in that season. We
Talking
knew it.
about Anfield.
We knew no 10 games left in that season. We knew what we had to do.
Hmm.
We go into that City match on a winning streak. We're looking good. We'll be in a good situation to
Yeah,
control the fate of the season for ourselves.
yeah.
You need to win the next one and the next one and the next one, and we failed 3
That
times.
You have to, but you have to admit we have a team now that's a year older. We had a lot of
Doesn't
young
matter.
players.
But in the moment that you needed to fight through all of that because it was gonna be nobody believed it was gonna be easy. So
No,
that there's none of this like oh it's gonna
players didn't believe it was going to be easy either. They
yeah,
felt the
so
pressure.
yeah well they
You
felt the
know.
pressure and they failed 3 times in a row, right?
Yep. Yep.
They had opportunities to win 3 games and they didn't do it
Yep.
when they needed
Yep.
to, and they paid for it later on.
Yep.
Just think about it. If they would have died, for example, if they would have like melted down physically after those 3 games, it would be understandable. But they didn't go through that, and then and then they still failed afterwards. So it was like we just, you know, who kind of wasted an opportunity there, and they did.
Tom said, "I think winning comes with experience on the whole, and hopefully, this year, that from last season to this, will help as well." Tom does go on to say, "There will always be an outlier like Leicester in 2016, but generally, the trophies go to players that have been at the dance more often than not." And I think personally, you learn from your mistakes as well. You can't win anything with kids. It's a famous Alan Hansen quote that came back to bite him when Manchester United won things with
So
kids.
you know what? You can't if I always say first you say it, then you do it. If your first thought is we're going to go young, we're not going to win, even though the ultimate goal is to win something at the end of the day, then guess what? You won't win. Because I have no doubt if your first instinct is it's not going to happen, guess what? It's not going to happen. So I believe in that
All right.
100%. Yeah.
I'm listen. I think for the record, we're putting into use that experience, the things that we learned from last season. We're putting that into use now. And I said from the start of the season, the one person that had to improve the most was Mikel Arteta, and I
Mm-hmm.
think we're seeing that a little bit. He had to look at things over the summer, let the players go to the tournaments or the holidays, whatever they were doing, and let him learn from that.
So Leeds are going to be really good this year and make it into the Premier League.
You can't
That's
play reverse psychology with Mr. Tom.
I
You
just
will
said it
ruin
right
it.
there. So there you go. So now his team is destined to just win everything. Go
Yeah, but
undefeated, win everything.
He's gonna go reverse back to you, and you're gonna be
No.
like, "What?"
Yeah, he talks nonsense. So why did you even put his comment up if you think it's
Hey,
nonsense?
he's a loyal viewer.
I
Everybody,
don't care.
you come here to get your
I'm having a
comments
lot of I don't
from.
care this today. I've been saying it a
Um,
lot.
this is going to be difficult. Like Iconoclast, I agree with you. The best team set down markers, but we're going to face a Liverpool team that I believe is 49 games unbeaten at Anfield, something like that in all competitions. They won 7 and drew 1 of their 8 Premier League games so far this season. But Iconoclast says, and I agree to a point, yeah, we need to beat Liverpool. It's an opportunity to put a marker down. Let's see what we can do. If we're 1 point ahead of Liverpool now, this game takes on. Always they would have taken on that significance, Gary. But if by this time next week we're talking about a 4 point gap at the top of the league to Liverpool, that'll be happy days.
Yeah, yeah,
But
no,
like it's not going to be easy. Premier League is not easy,
yeah.
and that will take on its own significance as
No,
well. I think.
we've said you were presented with some tests, right? Arsenal
Yeah.
needs to be will be presented with some tests. We've had some of them. We've had City, right? We've had comeback from losses. We've had comeback from poor play. So far, we've been able to respond. Now we've coming up. We need to
Oh.
start up a winning streak. We need to go into Anfield and perform,
Mm-hmm,
right?
mm-hmm.
I think we'll all take a point, but we know from the last time we played them that we could have won. So we should be going in there to try to win. If we fail and we get a draw, so be it. But we can't lose. You know what I mean? That's what you have to be fighting for the win. And if they're up for the task as well, and you finish with a draw, then you consider yourself a success, right? Consider that a success. But if
Yeah,
you roll over and roll over,
I
then you're in
think
trouble.
I think we're going to be fueled by the draw, the 2-2 draw that we mentioned earlier in the podcast. We're going to be fueled by that 2-2 draw at Anfield. Imagine now the Liverpool fan base are a little bit annoyed, disappointed, nervous right now with that draw against Man United. It was supposed to be Liverpool turn up and get 3 points today. It didn't happen. They are going to look at Arsenal as a better team coming into Anfield on Saturday, and they're going to be nervous. And we need to play. We need to play on their nerves as well. Maybe the team will be nervous. Maybe the Liverpool team will be nervous. You could see in that performance, Gary, that Jurgen Klopp sent them out to play fast in the first 15 minutes. And Manchester United weathered the storm.
Yeah, they looked a lot like what we saw yesterday in parts of today from Arsenal, both women and men.
Yes.
I mean, basically more than enough opportunities to put a goal away and not being able to finish, right? Not being clinical in front of goal in as part of your attack, and it will come back to haunt you if you don't break through. Today, we could have been in the same situation we were in, in previous games, but the women showed what happens when you don't. The team gets a goal and you could get punished for it. So everybody expected Liverpool to not get caught out. Yes, it is Manchester United, but at this point in the season and where you stand, you should you expect to win, right?
These are especially the second half of the season. And Liverpool have done this before. You need to start stockpiling wins at home, especially. You go away from home, take what you can get. Tom said if you want to be at the fabled top spot at Christmas, you're probably going to need to win at Anfield, as Villa are home to Sheffield United. Iconoclast said, I'm starting to believe Arsenal's future could be on Arteta's ability to work under pressure. Maybe this is the big match experience Mr. Tom is talking about.
Yeah, we've had it multiple times this season. Every time we play City, that's got to be one of those markers you want to put down. You want to have compete against them no matter what's on the line, be it a little plate or be it 3 points, right? So far, so good for us. We've not played so well against the Chelsea, United, and that team, right? We did get wins in 2 of them, but we got win in 1 of them actually, and we drew in the other 2. So
we beat United and we beat City.
No, I was saying Chelsea and that team along with the Manchester United. I already talked about City. I was moving on. Okay. So against 3 big names, right? Who many didn't think are expected to challenge for the title this season, right?
Yeah.
And we drew to that team, which is important for them because that keeps them, they're still close. Chelsea and in Manchester United, nobody expects them to compete,
When you think about the North London derby and us dropping 2 points to that team, it probably would feel that would probably be how Liverpool are feeling right now, dropping 2 points to Man United today.
Yes and no. Yes and no. And if you're gonna be little, no. But I mean, it's like Manchester United wouldn't say they're having a good season like I think that team thinks they're having.
Last season they were saying that.
No. This season I'm talking about.
I know, but last season they were saying that they won a Carabao Cup. No. They got top 4, and look,
you're right about last season. I was just thinking we're talking about this season. So
yeah, I'm just saying. Well, you said that Manchester United wouldn't say that, and they said that last season.
Yeah.
So. Yeah. Fair, right? We were top at Christmas last season, means nothing to Arsenal. Yeah, they don't hand out trophies in December, right, Gary?
Yeah, we just want to show that our form is on. So that right now looks to be we need to be in the first, second position, right? That's what it looks like right now. We need to continue to play to our form. Yeah, Mr. Tom is no fan of
there we are.
You know what? That means
he even came out of retirement to score against them.
That means absolutely nothing, right? It means absolutely nothing in this grand scheme of football. A fan of you're just upset because he scored some goals. That's all.
Yeah, he came out of retirement even.
The man was in his walker, and it took the walk off, came on the pitch, and then did some work, and then went back, to crocheting, and Mr. Tom is all upset all of a sudden. I don't get it.
All right. I don't know about Lewandowski. He's a good player, but I don't think I would take him on loan for 6 months. But this kind of brings us to Osimhen, Tony, and Solanke. If
Mm.
if you want to talk about Lewandowski, certainly feel free to do that as well, Gary.
Mm. No, it's one of those things where is Osman the similar to like Mbappe talk? Like it would be a nice to have, but I don't see anywhere in our world we'll get him. Or is it
Oh,
really
no,
truly? Is
more
it really
attainable.
truly? Is
He
more?
would be like a Declan
Yeah.
Rice acquisition, Gary.
So for me, the only way Osman is like you and like for me, if they don't do anything in January, that means Osman's saying yes.
Okay.
That means as soon as he signs his contract, the next thing you hear is Arsenal is picked up the buyout clause, and Osman will be on the Arsenal squad come summer because we've seen that before, right?
Mm-hmm.
We've seen that before. So if Nkuku can be sold well into, still in the previous season, in that season of his former club, then why not? That's the only way I think that works. Otherwise, we need to do something in January. My initial thought has always been midfield, anyways, just because I feel like we're getting more than enough chances. We're getting more than enough chances, and if we're going to bring a strike in, I'd rather maintain. Like right now, we lose Saliba or Magalas, I think we're in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, if Rice has to
Yeah.
work as hard as we expect him to, and Havertz and Erdegaard are not, going to be able to hold up, because I think, for me, that midfield is like Jorginho could do things, but he's a stopgap for a short period of time. All right. I kind of would like to bring in somebody longer term for that fix,
Not that.
or that 8 that we're missing,
Yeah.
right? If Havertz can be pushed up the pitch, maybe to kind of rotate with Jesus, right? Push Jesus. So for me, like if you can fix one of those areas, it allows you to rotate a little bit better. Like if you get that 8 that you want, and you want Havertz and Trossard to continue to play, then maybe you can rotate them with any 4 players in that front 4, essentially, so you can get the right combination, but you can also give players an opportunity to sit out for a bit, right? Because it'd be
Okay.
nice to say, oh, you just put Havertz up top, Jesus goes out to the right, and Martinelli plays or Trossard plays, and you don't see a big dip, because those players all give you something. So you can sit Martinelli and Saka and still have a quality team up there, right? That's kind of how I see it being able,
Okay.
especially talking about long term to get through this season, because I think we're going to have to move players around in that front 3. Be nice to say it's always going to be from the left to the right, Martinelli, Jesus, and Saka for the rest of the season. I just find that I
Could be a
I
lot of season.
I
Yeah.
believe I find it hard to see. I'd like to think that we should be able to rotate at some point
Well,
to get the job done.
let's figure this out. We got 21 games left in the Premier
Mm,
League, so that's a definite. FA Cup is about 5 or 6 games if you get all the way.
mm-hmm,
So now we're into about 27, 28 games, and we have a last 16 uh, leg 2-sided. That's 30. We get through a quarterfinal, it'll be 32 games. If we get to a semifinal, we'll play 34 games
mm-hmm.
remaining in the season.
Yeah,
So, which I'm starting to readjust maybe my sights on thinking we are one of the top 4 teams left in
yeah,
the Champions League,
yeah.
and
I
we
mean, those
should
numbers you said, like there's about 30 matches, right?
34 games left.
So
Yeah.
so so 34. If we don't have the substitutions we need, that means Saliba would have played 57 games. Not sure we want to have them. We want him to have
No.
to play that.
Yeah.
Declan Rice would have a one extra from that, so 58. Uh,
So you're leaning towards.
Margules is 50. So I'm saying you look at that number 57.
Yeah.
You would like to say, I would like to say between 5 and 10 matches they wouldn't have to play, not because we lost, but because we can rotate, right? If we want to see it through all the way to the end, right? And even if you want to, and that might be asking too much, right? We might be saying, maybe 7 to 14 games they don't play, they don't have to start at least,
So
So
you're thinking for January maybe a defender of some sort. Is that what you're thinking? A center back, fullback?
Either the 8 we're missing, right? Because I think we would like to have that 8. Because I think still I think Havertz is better up top. I think
All right,
Trossard
you
could
want that
play.
left eight? Okay.
I think that left 8, or for me, we've got any number of positions on that back line that we need support at, depending on how these players respond to how, if they recover or not.
I know in
Right.
the Champions League in the final minutes, Gary, they wanted to take a look at what Declan Rice could do in that back line. So
Yeah,
he
so you
played
put
there.
Declan Rice there, then who plays in the 6, right? Jorginho. How many
Yeah.
times does he play there for? Like,
I mean, these are
having
emergency
those
break
emergency situations. This is
glass.
the same thing I talked to you about when we said, well, Ben White can move into the center back role, and look what happened, right? Look what
Yeah.
happened there, right? So for me, I rather I get being able to shift plays around is cool, but it can't be too much of a. It's not really a long-term fix, right? Because Declan Rice moving to center back with Jorginho in front of him on the 3rd or 4th game in a row isn't good, right?
Yeah, things to think about for the coming months in
Mm,
this campaign. And if we go deep, we should go deep in the FA Cup,
mm, mm,
albeit we got to beat Liverpool at the Emirates. But I'm
mhm.
kind of in this mode of fearing no one at this point. When are Arsenal going to give Brentford 100 million that went for Ivan Toney and be done with it? I don't think it'll be 100 million. It could be 60, 70, something like that. But Ivan Toney is the player that I think I would probably go for at the end of the day. If you give me an Osimhen, I'm not going to be disappointed. I would like to see how he translates to the Premier League. There's always going to be that question mark of how he can adapt to the Premier League. His injuries also, if Tony was here, he might tell you Osimhen's got some injury issues. He seems to be out a lot. So for me, right away, I've been talking about Ivan Toney for a season, or probably a season, wanting to maybe get him in. That's probably the player I'd like to see in January for Arsenal. You know,
Yeah.
I saw a tweet where somebody said he's a combination of Aubameyang and Lacazette. I kind of agree with that. I kind of agree. He's got the attributes of both of those players within him. You know what I mean? How much is Dunk worth? I don't think Dunk is going to leave. He's like the cornerstone of that Brighton
Yeah.
project right now. You know,
Brighton. I mean, they letting it go a lot. At some point, the cornerstones of the squad are going to want to go too. It's like, well, you keep letting all my friends go. At some point, I'm going to want to leave too.
Yeah.
You were talking about Brentford and 100 mil. Arsenal, like
60, 70 though, surely, right?
Tony needs to say he wants to leave for Arsenal to be interested. Like
It's probably happened behind the scenes already.
Arsenal can't negotiate with Brighton all by themselves. The player will have to make a say in this one. Like, I've been out for a while. I know you've helped me, but I need to go. But like 100 mil, no way. I mean, I think 70, 80 is getting a little bit high. He's got 1 year left in his contract. We've bought better players for less.
Yeah.
Right. We bought better players for less than that. So with 1 year in their contract. So
Trossard. We got Trossard for a decent amount.
Trossard that was a disciplinary thing, right? There's a little conflict between it. Whereas like Zinchenko and Jesus, there wasn't really any kind of like conflict between the managers. It's whether or not you want to play. And City's okay to let you go for a decent price. So 80 to 100 mil is a little too much for Tony. Arsenal needs to probably try to get a better deal, and maybe they do have a card to play, and maybe they do have a player that we can give them that will help them off the bench. Say I don't know, Eddie Nketiah.
Maybe a player who had an assist today. Maybe
yeah. So maybe that's what you got. That's what you do. Like so it might be an option. Like, it might be a way to make the deal sweeter for Brentford. It's like, look, you've got a player who's got 5 goals in the league right now, right? You play him against, teams lower in your table. You can rest your starters, for example, and you'll get something out of him because he's shown he can do that. Make him part of your rotation, and maybe you get even more out of him. It's just not right for us. So
Valuable player. Yeah. How
Yeah.
much would you,
Yeah.
Russ, with a play on words here? How much would you bet on Arsenal getting Tony?
I don't think the odds. I think the no,
Betting scandal, Gary.
betting.
Think
Yeah,
betting
betting
scandal.
for Tony to join. That's like I said. We have like Tony. I want Tony, but I wasn't thinking too much about the as the season has come on. Tony doesn't answer the questions of the midfield and the back line
I know, but
issues
like
for me. Because right now,
people will say,
if he did answer it, if he was like, if we could say, look, he's like one of the most clinical strikers out there. We know we get the ball in the box, and he will guarantee hit, 10, 15 goals in a half a season with us, guaranteed, no problem. Then it might be a case of, all right, let's do this, right?
do it. Yeah.
But we are getting opportunities, and we saw in the game today against a pretty good Brighton team. Eventually you keep playing the same way, the goals will come, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like if we said we bring in Tony, and our games will be such that 4-2 would be probably pretty much a guaranteed score line, because it might be a little challenging for us to maintain clean sheets, but we're going to score more goals than you. Then I'll say go with that game plan. Right,
Okay.
because you know what I mean? Because that might open up
People will
everybody
say
else.
that's Liverpool. People will say that's Liverpool.
Yeah.
Liverpool will score 4.
Yeah.
If
So
you score
and we
2,
don't.
they'll score
Yeah,
4.
and we're saying we don't want to do that. So we're saying we want to be a little bit more
Yeah.
defensively in control.
Yeah.
The only way we do that is if we play with the players that can get us there. Now, do we have the numbers for that? Like you got to weigh your odds, right? Can we afford to to not get to hope that Partey and to hope that Timber do come back this season
Mm-hmm.
before we need them, right? We need them to come before we need them, not when we need them, because it's going to be too late.
Yeah. Look,
right?
I trust the club. I trust Arteta and the medical staff to take a look at this on the 28th of December, 29th of December,
Yeah.
30th and 31st of December,
Yeah.
and have a plan on January 1st, Gary.
Yeah, no, for sure. I was looking at the stats for for all competitions right now, and you
Yeah.
got Saka with 19 goal contributions, and I say he's struggling. I say he's
He
still
got
got a
one
lot to.
today as
Yeah,
well. It's a
yeah,
corner,
yeah,
right? He gets an
yeah.
assist.
And
Gets
then
it
and
out.
then and then Martin Odegaard has 9. Jesus has 9 contributions, and we don't think they're anywhere near where they need to be. All right. Then you have
Yeah.
Trossard with 8, Martinelli with 7, Nketiah with 7, Declan Rice with 5, Havertz with 5. You know, uh, you know,
We're getting
we are
balanced.
the numbers are spread out after
Yeah.
Saka, because we're
Yeah.
getting, I mean, all the way down to the fact that even
Saliba.
even Emil Fro has a goal contribution. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like players that don't play much are still contributing
Yeah.
to some degree.
Fabio Vieira
So
is probably up there as well. I think he had a goal and a couple of assists too.
yeah, Vieira's got
Nelson,
he's got
Reece
four
Nelson.
he's got 4 contributions, 1 goal, 3 assists. So we
Reece-
are getting, the numbers are there, and we don't even feel like we're hitting on all
Exactly.
cylinders, right?
Exactly.
There's that, like, it will eventually kick in, or we might have to add. This is where, like, for me, adding like a Reece Nelson to the rotation along with it. We saw Mills Rowe and Reece Nelson come into the game today,
Yep. Yep.
right? Like, they need to be getting more minutes for this to work, because they need to be comfortable playing. Eddie he'll get the golden boot in the championship with Leeds next year. Cool, whatever you want, man. Whatever you want.
Well, comment of the day is right here, Gary. We're right here. I'm confident Arsenal will secure a top 4 this season. I mean,
Yeah,
we are blessed.
that's a bare minimum for us,
We are
right?
blessed to have Tom with such
Yeah,
crystallized
yeah.
predictions.
He is Captain Obvious. Yes, that is definitely a challenge. That's going to be one of our goals, is to finish in the top 4.
So, listen, to finish out on this banner that I have down here, it's a marathon, not a sprint, Gary. I think
Yes.
we sprinted last season to 16 games, 43 points, and we didn't have the legs to get through 6 more games than the 16 without even getting more points than the first 16 games.
Yep.
So
Yep.
Here we are. There's more balance. There's more composure in our play. Maybe we don't like it. It's
Mm-hmm.
not what Arsenal was doing last season. I
Mm-hmm.
hear people talking about this. We're just not the same team as we were last season.
Yeah.
But our
Yep.
first 16 games, 36 points. And we're on pace for, I think, about 88, 89 points for the
Mm-hmm.
next, if we maintain this for the next 22 games. We'll see what happens. Furthermore, you said just a moment ago, we're not even firing on full cylinders. This
Mm-hmm.
Arsenal team, I believe it as well, Gary. I hear Liverpool fans saying the same thing. We're not playing well yet. Well, I suppose they could look at this game against Man United and say that.
Yep.
Um, but I feel like, okay, I might be biased. I'm wearing this Arsenal shirt here. I feel like Arsenal's got more room for improvement
Yeah. Yep.
than Liverpool do. I'm starting to see Liverpool, and they're relying a lot on Mo Salah to get the goals as well. And maybe I'll do some more research on that for Thursday to bear that out. We saw with Man City yesterday welcoming Crystal Palace, and they got a dubious goal. I thought it was offside. Grealish.
Yeah, the first one I was looking at that, and I was just kidding on one of the group chats I'm on that that green line looks suspiciously really thick. Like there's no way you can see the red line to see how far off it was, if it was off by a little bit or a lot.
Yeah,
It looked a little suspect to me that green line
crazy.
was so thick.
They're
So
drawing
thick.
lines. When you're a City player, they draw lines from your arms. The opposing
Because yeah,
something crazy.
I thought that I thought he
Manipulate.
was ahead of the defender, and I said, you know what, they're going to probably pick his butt and to use that
Mm.
as a marker for him being offsides. But it was pretty close, and it would be nice to have seen the defenders, the defensive line come up first, and
Yes.
then see the green line to see kind
Yeah.
of how far off it is. Like when you just see the green line, then okay, it doesn't really help me because I don't see the difference. Is it, you're saying it's right on top of each other? I guess tie goes to the attacker, right? But you don't even see that,
Mm.
you know.
And there should be a procedure manual.
Mhm.
Everybody in the VAR room should be looking at step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4,
Like
and
you should see the red line come out saying that it's
inconsistency.
offsides, and then the green line saying it's onside, and like kind of just either shifting or just highlighting it so that you can see the red underneath the green, or the red on top of whatever it might be, whichever one proves that, look, there's a lot of green on the outside of this. Means it's onside. There's red on it, which shows it's offside or whatever. Because it's the only way it makes sense to me. You
When
know,
you're
my
a when you're a City player, they draw lines from your house, says Tom.
true.
Yeah, this crazy stuff. Ederson comes out of his box, takes a player out.
I did not see that. I've been meaning to
There's no players covering. I
yeah.
don't care. I don't care. The
Yeah.
ball's going slightly away from the goal, but you still have an opportunity.
Mhm.
That player still has an opportunity to, um,
Mhm.
but it's foul play. It's reckless, whatever you want to call it. For all of that, City go 2-0 up,
Mhm.
and early doors in the second half, and it looks like it's going to be a routine win. But this City team, there's something not quite right about this City team, Gary. And we've been
Mhm.
talking about this this summer as well. Will they let players leave, and I don't believe the quality of player coming in to replace Gundogan and Mahrez are of the quality of those players leaving.
True. True. True.
You
True.
know,
They don't have that answer there, right? They don't have that
the
answer.
cheat code is injured.
Like yeah, they don't have that answer coming. That's already been there, right?
Hmm.
You would like to think, okay, they do have that player on the bench who's just going to take up, like Grealish was there, but he wasn't there the first season. Second season, he's there. Right now, Grealish is going to compete with the next guy who's coming in, right? So usually. I think for them that they have to have that player already in house. It can't be somebody they bring on, right? So I'm going to see here if they show this what this. Oh, I think I did see that
Yeah.
Edison. where he comes out right in the corner of the
And
box there.
the argument is that the ball is being toe-poked slightly away from goal, but I still feel the Palace player would have been able to get to it.
Yeah, but they also say there was a defender right there. So
there's no defender.
Was it a goal? There was.
Defenders are behind the keeper and the
I'm just
attacker.
watching the replay, and at the point where he's in the air, the defender standing, like I see it right now. The defender is running almost shoulder to shoulder. The goalkeeper, like if the goalkeeper doesn't get there, the defender's inside of him by a couple of yards. He's gonna have to cut in defender at that point. He's still in front of him, but he's gonna have to cut in front of him to get that opportunity. And there's another defender coming in from the other side, meaning he's going to have to shoot past two defenders. But I mean, it is definitely a challenge outside the box for sure. So I believe he got a yellow for that, right?
Yeah, yellow card. Yeah. I mean, the referee couldn't take the yellow card out of his pocket quickly enough. To have that be the decision, you know.
Yeah. No, like I said, I am watching it, and I just paused it where there's a defender just on the inside of him, behind him, but just on the inside of him. There's one defender running through the middle, and when that foul happens, so if he doesn't foul him, you know, he plays it safe and he misses, I think that slows him up just enough that the defender gets there. The defender that's right next to him gets there.
Okay.
And then the other defender slows up, so it looks like he's nowhere close, but I have no doubt he probably will continue to run. He would have to go through two defenders. And if he does cut back, there's another defender trailing him. So he does come out. I mean, you could have said that was a harsh challenge and it should be a red card, you know, that could have been a decision to make. Because he did come out pretty dangerous, you know, dangerous tackles have been given, you know, even without contact, they don't have to be contact. There was contact on this one. There's contact on this one enough to say he could have given a red if he wanted to, if he thought they came out a little dangerous, right?
Many will probably say that's an orange card. You know what I mean?
Yeah, or based on how that game was going, it's just it wasn't orange, but now he gets the red because we've already, you know, warned him before, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that one initially when they said, you know what, it's a clear path to the goal, I was like, I don't remember that play, but I do remember this one. It didn't look as close to being a goal because if the goalkeeper doesn't come out, like you're expecting the goalkeeper not to come out. The only reason why it's an issue is because the goalkeeper fouls, but if the goalkeeper comes out, it's not as straightforward. If he comes out and you can put the ball between his legs, I think there's a defender there to get it. So I kind of feel like, the yellow is probably definitely could have been a red, is what I'm saying. Could have been a red.
Oh yeah, I agree with you. I think they got benefit of that there. The City of not even halfway in the season, they've conceded 20 goals now. Gary, Man City, they're on pace for conceding over 40 goals this season if they continue defending the way they are, and that's not going to win them the league if they concede 40 goals or more. You have to be in the low 30s, generally speaking, to win the league. Defensively, they give up a goal against to Mateta. They're cut through down the side. Cross goes in. He scores. 76th minute. I switch over. You're kind of hoping that the Palace can do something, and then Foden commits the most reckless challenge you're going to ever commit on an attacker. It's a stonewall penalty for me.
Yep.
And 2-2.
Yep. No, they are not as efficient in front of the goal, and defense is going to keep other teams in the game. You're up 2-0 on a team. You don't expect City to drop points, do you?
It's very unlike them.
You don't expect that, no matter who's playing. So they don't have that. They don't have a level of team that could take a two-goal lead right now. You know, that's what we just saw in this game, right?
Yeah.
Much less if it was 0-0 at the time late in this game. So
this reminded me a little bit of Arteta last season at Anfield. He had Kieran Tierney ready to come on
Yeah.
when they
The
conceded
problem
that.
is he always has it too late.
Yeah, but Pep did the same thing.
He needed. That's the problem. Why, if you're going to copy Pep, try to be better than Pep. All right.
Well, Pep did the same thing
I don't
yesterday
want
with
him to be
John
like Pep. I want him to
Stones.
be better than that. If you can see
Okay.
Pep has a frailty in some of his decision making, you want to do better. Like that game was calling for defender to come on sooner.
The
Like
Anfield
by the
game.
time
Yeah.
we realized we needed to take Zinchenko out, it was too late.
I'm just
It was too
saying
late.
the great Pep can make mistakes as well. That's
I
all
know,
I'm
but
saying.
I get that. But we all
John
saw it. We're
Stones.
like Zinchenko's not going to hold up in this game.
Yeah.
We saw
But
it.
do you know what? You know what, Gary? Pep only made one substitution yesterday.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that tells me he
wanted to win this one with his
doesn't like
starters.
his bench. That
Yeah.
tells me he doesn't like his bench
Well,
either.
we've seen Arteta do that, right? He didn't make a substitution 70 minutes into this, until after 70 minutes. I mean,
Yep.
like this game was calling for some fresh legs on the attack because the legs we had now just couldn't get the job done. Right?
Yeah. I looked at our subs bench as well, and okay, leaving City and going to the Brighton game now today. It's been a good week for us, Arsenal fans. We got the win. City didn't get the win. Liverpool didn't get the win, so we make some advancements today. Looking at our bench, though, Gary, as we said, injuries are playing a part. You have a couple of players there that are just there for the experience. One is there for, you know, the happy memories that he used to have, which is Cedric. We have Rule Walters. I'd like to start giving Rule Walters some minutes, but of course it's difficult to pick those moments. Lewis Skelly was in, but I sort of tagged Emile Smith-Rowe, Nelson, and Trossard for getting on today, and that's what happened.
Yeah. Well, the reason why they're not getting on is because we're not doing our job as first teamers.
At 1-0, it was at 1-0. It was
at 1-0. It should have been 4-0. You know what I mean? The way that game, the first half should have gone certainly a different way than it did. So we have these young players that need to come on and play. But guess what? When you don't do your job as a first teamer, you create more problems for yourself because now you have to see out the entire game sometimes.
You don't get to that comfort level in the second half where you feel 2-0 here. The game's the game's going well for us. We have an opportunity to bring some players in.
Yeah, the play the form that we were playing at deserved more goals. They did a lot of work to put themselves in situations to score in that first half, and they just could not get it done. And I think it's still, for me, that sense of urgency in the box that we need to get this ball past that line into the net. Like anything you can do, poke a toe, a knee, whatever, a head in there, whatever it is, get that goal. You need to see it happen in that first half. Those first halves are gonna hurt us in the long term, I think.
I know it was an early kickoff for 2 p.m. kickoff in England. Do you feel like the Emirates was pretty quiet today? I felt like they were, and maybe the cold had something to do with that.
Yeah.
People not.
The play should have been. I don't know. I wasn't. I guess I can't say I wasn't listening because I was doing a watch along, so I usually have the volume down, so really all I hear is the commentary.
Okay. Yeah.
So I don't really hear the crowd. And
it was pretty quiet. It was pretty wait. The way the crowd's waiting for something to happen. They want the players to give them something.
You know why? Because definitely in the second half, I could see that. In the first half, that first I don't know. I think it was the first 3 minutes.
20
It
minutes,
looked like the first 3 minutes. It looked like, wow, we are looking like we might want to try to score here. Then it kind of died down. Next thing you know, it's 15 minutes in, and you're like, oh boy, we're back to that again, right? Where we kind of like run out really fast and then die. As far as our attacking threat.
In the Premier League, it's difficult to win away from home, and we saw Man United do it today against Liverpool. They try to ride out that early storm that the home side are going to give you. Liverpool took the game to Man United. Arsenal took the game to Brighton in the first 15 minutes. Saka particularly tried the legs on Milner to see if his legs were working.
And you know what? He disappointed me because
Saka did.
Yes.
Do
I
you
was
feel like he
I was
doesn't
call- I
continually
was
attack?
I
Yeah.
was calling for it the entire time. Every time he had a one-on-one with Milner, he needed to continue.
Yep.
Like by the time they pull him out of the game, it's
Get to
too
that
late
back.
because we have the lead. That's what needed to happen.
He didn't even get him on a yellow card, right? When he
No,
probably
no,
should have a challenge.
no. You know what? The reason why he couldn't is because Milner couldn't even touch him.
Hmm.
It's what you know. Usually, when you have a little bit of a faster play where you can get by him once in a while, then the yellow comes. He wasn't even getting close enough to touch him.
Mm.
So for me, that meant that Saka needed to punish him for not being able to get there.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, like the last. It's funny. I'm looking at the kind of the layout of how our goals have gone. The last two matches, basically goals. We 2 goals at in that second
PSV.
half. They're like right in the beginning of the first 15 minutes, and in the last 5-10 minutes of the match we scored. The last two matches where we won. Um, that would be the Brighton and the Luton game, right? So we are fine scoring for me in that second half. In
Okay.
most games, that
Yeah.
first half is just like there's a lot of like there's many times here in the first half where we didn't score, like Crystal Palace,
I think only
Everton.
Wolves.
Well, no,
Wolverhampton Wanderers the only
yeah,
time we scored in the
yeah,
first 15 minutes, I believe, against
yeah.
Wolves.
Well, we scored early in. Oh wait, that's not us. No, no, that is us, isn't it?
You're
Yeah.
stealing someone else's
Yeah,
stats.
no, Manchester United. We scored early in that one. I don't know how early it was.
Erdegaard, about 26 minutes, 27
Oh,
minutes.
this looks a little. The way it's laid out
Those
because
were,
it's laid out on like a
was
on like
against
on a
Man
graph, and
United. Man United, we went a goal down to Rashford, where
it's saying we scored.
White and Saliba did the same thing
Yeah,
defensively. But yeah, we started fast and urgent first few 15 minutes. Saka took on Milner, and you're right. Sometimes Saka comes away from his player. I did notice that Brighton had to use their winger to help Milner double up on Saka. And their right back Veltman had an injury, came off, and then Arteta had an opportunity to gather the team together.
yeah,
Um, then we had Jesus. So Brighton were playing us pretty physically, and then Jesus had a challenge on Gilmore, which is basically he's just trying to uh, defend his position on the ball in midfield.
mm,
I did notice Gabriel Jesus dropping into midfield quite a lot. And I think that was a deliberate ploy
yeah,
to maintain possession. And I also noticed David Raya going long on some of the kickouts as well. I think that's just part of Gary what Brighton were giving us. You know,
mhm,
as you say, you take you take what the defense are giving you in some ways. You know, 30 minutes, the challenges are flying in, and then we have a 31st minute. The really probably the best chance for Arsenal. Erdegaard and Saka combine. The goalkeeper's drawn out, and Saka cuts it back for Martinelli. And he really needs to just dink it into the net, and he scoops it over the bar.
yeah.
The
Me too.
Martinelli
Yeah,
chance. I want to talk about Martinelli a little bit later as well.
yeah.
37-minute Ben White. Here we go. Ben White gets a yellow card on Matoma. That's fine. But Matoma is gesturing to the referee, something that the referees have let go now. It was supposed to be a directive that you couldn't gesture, for a yellow card. Matoma did this. All
We
right.
know it. We know it only matters when the shirt's red
Yeah.
or bright yellow with like wiggly stripes on it. So,
So
um,
37 minutes. The crowd has been quiet. Zinchenko asked for more, so we get a corner. Zinchenko is trying to get the crowd going. And then on 42 minutes, we have the Matoma getting the yellow card on Saka, but only after, let's say, our manager just can't help himself from getting involved in
yeah.
things.
But you know what? I don't know if that yellow happens if he doesn't do all of
Exactly. It
that
wasn't going to
nonsense, right?
happen.
Yeah,
So,
I have a feeling
how
at
do you
some point
feel?
he's standing there watching this happen right in front of him, and he's like, "Are you seriously not going to do anything about this?" I mean,
Yeah.
I think this whole thing, attention, hey, look at me, kind of thing, really, it made it easy for them to give him the yellow. But
Mhm.
he got
I
the
think.
yellow he wanted. He
Yes.
got the yellow on it. Chris Nix,
Well,
welcome to the show.
Mikel got the yellow he wanted as well. So he
Yeah.
wanted the yellow from Matoma, and he
Yeah.
got a yellow
No,
from
I was
Smith
just
too.
I was looking it up, and in 9 of 16 first halves, we haven't scored.
Yeah.
We are much better than that. Like we've
What?
played only 17, so like in over 50% of the games, we don't score in the first half. That's like if your plan's going to work, it'll work in the first 20 minutes of the match, right?
Yeah, but I wonder if this is a symptom of the way we're trying to be less cavalier, be less swashbuckling. We were doing that last season. That's the way we were playing.
Whatever you just said is nonsense to me.
Okay.
Because the reason why I say
Can
that,
you explain why? Can you
I,
explain
I,
that stat then?
for me, in some of those situations we did not look to score. We weren't going to score in those first halves. But in general, I think we have a lot of our strengths in our attack, right? Jesus, Martinelli, Saka,
Yeah.
Erdegaard
Yeah.
are all players that we should depend on to basically to put an attack together that we can get goals. We are actually in many times getting these opportunities to shoot. We had so many touches in the box, they would show the stat. So
It's
we
coming
are
up.
in the attacking area, right? So
Yeah.
all of that to me means it's not anything to do with the way our defensive responsibilities are slowing down the attack. We, we had like we had more than enough. I think we had over 20 shots today.
I had 15 in the first half.
So yeah, so you're proving my points even more there.
Yeah.
15 shots in the first half,
Just in the
no
first half.
goals, and how many touches in the box? Almost double that. So I kind of feel like you have. I believe it's yeah. We had a large number of touches in the box, which means opportunities where you can either take a shot or make a pass, and we
Yeah.
didn't take advantage of that. So I think the way that we're playing doesn't, for me, answer the question why we're not scoring, because we are putting ourselves in situations to do that.
Yeah. We finished the first half with 15 shots
Mm,
and 3 of them on target,
mm,
58% possession.
mhm.
Brighton had 42% possession and no shots on target. So it was a very controlled game from Arsenal. But the things we harp on about the efficiency, not quite there. We had a lot of possession, but we didn't make that count in terms of goals in the first half.
Yeah,
Um, and in the end, Gary, full time, Arsenal finished with 26 shots, 9 of them on target, and Brighton had 6 shots, only 1 of them on target. You know,
yeah, yeah. And
um,
if you, I was just looking at the stats, and we had more shots in the first half than the second half, but we had more shots on target in the second half.
yeah,
So that's where like when I say our opportunities are there, we're just not taking advantage of it.
we made some
Those shot
adjustments.
those shots on the shots on target have nothing to do with adjustments. We were getting shots in the box, no problem.
Well, we were
Just
sent out
just not
in the
just
second
not
half.
just not on target is the issue, and it has nothing. There's not much of a game plan you can do on that because
Was it a
we had
cleaner game in the second half?
how many opportunities in front of the box did we have in that first half that you saw where you went, wow,
Not
how
in
did
the
we miss?
first half. Yeah.
We had a couple of there was a couple of touches in the box, I believe in the first half, where you're like, wow, we didn't even get a shot off here. It
Mhm.
didn't even test the goalkeeper.
Some of them
You
were
know,
Martinelli's.
no, it doesn't matter who it is. As a team as a whole, we're not getting those opportunities, right?
Well,
We're
you
not
got to
putting away
give
those
some
opportunities.
credit. This Brighton team is a pretty decent team, a good defensive unit. This
They're not
Brighton
that
team.
good that we can miss shots like that.
Mm.
Well, you know what I mean? Like they weren't good enough to stop us from getting those opportunities.
What did we have a better second half than first half? So
Just
I think you would agree we did have a better
if you
second
look
half.
at the 2 goals we had, they were all with space. So either we
Mm.
can't play in a we can't break down a team and score. We have to hit them on like what looks like a counter, right? Where we have space out on the edge, kind of thing. But we're gonna
Um,
have to be able to beat teams where we don't get those
some
type of
of
those opportunities.
some of the issues we're having. We talked about this in previous recent
Mhm.
podcasts. Erdegaard and Martinelli. Let's focus on Erdegaard for a second because 51st minute, Declan Rice breaks up, playing out from the back.
Mm.
Pass it to Bukayo Saka. Bukayo Saka plays a really nice ball to Odegaard. And this is just before the goal, right? And we get a corner out of it, but Odegaard's refused the shot on his right foot again. You know, it's becoming.
And he took an extra touch, right?
Mhm.
And you're like, if you just took it one time, and he
You
did
know,
it later on. He did it later on in the game one time, and I think he struck a guy in the head and another one in the stomach. Like
it was lower
that.
than the stomach, Gary. It was lower than the stomach.
No,
It
no,
was
I'm
the
gonna call it
Dunkin'.
stomach. I think he
It
was
was the
playing it up.
Dunkin'
I,
Donuts.
I think he was playing. I think he was playing it up. But
He hit
but
his
like
Dunkin' Donuts, Gary.
what I'm saying is those are like the one-time shots. Those aren't the touch kind of thing. Because if you once you touch it, you slow down your moment. For me, you slow down your momentum and you don't put your
Mm,
foot through the ball, right? So that's where he needs to just don't think, shoot, you know.
yeah, I had to call my wife because that hurts. I don't know if you've ever had that happen to you, but
Mm,
that hurts when you get a Lewis Dunkin' Donuts.
mm,
A ball placed right there in Lewis's Dunkin' Donuts. That hurts. So he was down for a little bit, but
mm.
that was after we'd scored from the corner. Erdegaard refuses that right foot shot. We get a corner, and here we go. Bukayo Saka quietly adding stats to his game with an assist on the corner, Gary.
Mm, 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 mm.
And a
Yeah,
player in Gabriel Jesus who has been pretty shy on goals in the Premier League registering. But that's nice. It's flicked on by the defender, and he's right there. He's got it maybe just slightly, but gets the head on it and makes
I
it 1-0
from
up.
the angle that I was looking at it, I was like, how in the world did he really headed that ball? Because the angle was so bad that I knew it deflected off somebody's head, and then next thing you know it's in the goal. But from the angle we were looking at, I couldn't tell he actually hit it right. He headed it right back on, right back into the goal. If you look at it from
Mhm.
the other angle, you're like, wow, there's nobody there, and he heads it back in. You're like, yes, somebody's on the far post, and that's
Yeah,
what you want, right?
unmarked. Yeah, and that's what you need when when a defender is slightly out of position, can't quite get to it, and he's there. Arsenal are top of the league with that goal. I thought it would be momentary. We all thought it'd be momentarily for a few hours, but with Liverpool supposedly beating United, but that didn't happen.
Yep.
So Matoma's on a yellow card, and it looked like he went down very easily in the 72nd minute. Uh, VR never they never really would dwell on these things when it's the opposing players, but if it was Arsenal, a player on a yellow card, like Bukayo Saka on a yellow card, and does he dive? I'm sure VAR are checking on that. But Matoma was gesturing. He got his yellow card the first half. Then my notes after 72 minutes are Arsenal will need to earn some clean sheets
Mm,
in the
mm,
remainder part of the season. We know Raya has struggled in the
mm.
last few games, and I think he came out and has admitted that in some sort of an interview, saying the transition's been a little bit difficult, but he's starting to feel more at home with the players he's playing with. Do we expect David Raya to settle down a little bit now? His play. I mean, he
Yeah,
had a quiet game, right?
we talked about it during the game, and I was making fun with Ryan about it. I was saying he had he had problems with short people because that one corner, that one cross early in the game where Raya, I guess in Ryan's eyes, should have just punched it out if he wasn't going to be able to get to it, but he kind of like did like a volleyball tip,
Yeah,
and then was able to collect the ball later, but it could
yeah.
have been.
Oh yeah,
Mm.
that cross. Oh
Yeah,
yeah, where he
yeah. So
nearly didn't quite drop it into his own net, but it was
yeah,
more or less
yeah.
parallel. Yeah,
So
Oof.
that was like,
We
and
still
then
feel.
there was another cross in that first half, I think, as well, and he did all right with that one. Then later on, the
Mm.
cross came in and he just caught it. But um, yeah,
There's still a feeling that there's a mistake in him, right, Gary?
well, I
That's just
think
the way
you're
I
asking him
feel.
to do things that are beyond his stature.
Okay.
He's not going to be a guy that's going to be able to command the ball in the air on some of these crosses because they're just going to be a little bit too tall for him, right? He's what 3 inches shorter than Ramsdale, I think, in those type of situations, right? So yeah, so for me, that was a little scary. Otherwise, I think and in that situation, I'm going to once again go to the defense that kind of allowed the ball to just come all the way down, and then him and the the attacker to actually be able to turn and put that cross in. But he's got to be able to figure out a way to make sure that when that ball comes out, that it probably deserved a punch as opposed to maybe a push. Like a serious punch where he can lean, he can reach out even further and get a little bit more oomph on it, right? As opposed to two hands where he's not. When you got one hand, you can reach a little bit further, and that's what he needed to do, like really a serious punch.
I feel like the initial clamor for Ramsdale is dying down a little bit now as people maybe come to accept that this is the situation.
He's not.
Forward.
Yeah, he's not. He's not Arsenal's number one, and that should be just clear as day. So just leave it alone.
So 74 minutes, Odegaard shot saved on a Martinelli break. Havertz header over 75 minutes. Gilmore has a yellow card on Jesus for following through. Saliba would follow through as well on a player unintentionally. And here's my issue now. In the 77 minute, I'm coming to Martinelli now. He's on a break after Jesus flicks the ball past Dunk in midfield. And Dunk is like, where did the ball go? What happened there? You remember this sequence. Jesus feeds Martinelli. He's got one fullback to attack and go into the box with, and he checks back. Martinelli checks back. The thing about Martinelli is the next step for Martinelli is to know what he is going to do with the ball before he even receives it. And I know it's a little bit of a frustration that Martinelli is not grown in that area, in my opinion. Do you think that's fair?
Yeah,
he gets into situations where he doesn't know what he's going to do. Then when he gets in those situations,
I don't know I don't know. I think he's, to me, overthinking things a little bit, and just like attack the goal like you're supposed to. And if you realize you're not going to be able to get because of the angle, you just put your foot through it. If you don't think you can make a pass to anyone, you put your foot through it and hope for deflection. Or you make that pass right into two. You don't really have much choice, and then a lot of the crosses he put in were pretty good. But I expect, like you said, the way that we scored off that left side, you would think that if that's Martinelli, you would expect him to score, but we never saw that as much. Like both of the goals that were scored were coming off that left side, right? The goal that was scored was coming off that left side, right?
One for Havertz,
and then Havertz puts it, put through between the arm and the leg of the goalkeeper. Like, when was Martinelli ever in a situation like that? And he isn't, because he's the reason. Like Trossard is the reason why.
77 minutes.
The space there. Was it 1-on-1? He didn't take the shot or something like that.
He refused a few shots in this game. Martinelli did.
Yeah.
Go back on the 77 minute. You'll have a look at it. He gets into that position. Jesus has gone past Lewis Dunk in midfield, feeds Martinelli. He's got to start driving at fullbacks or last defender and getting that shot away. I feel like he might be a victim a little bit of the more control that we're trying to put into games. Last season we had
you can't that control. I get it when you're like defending, you're tracking, you're getting the ball in the midfield, but when you're on an attack, there's no what control are you doing besides putting that? The control should be getting the ball into the box. Like when he comes down multiple times and you see him cut in and you're like, he's in that inside corner of the 18.
Yeah.
Shot should be going far corner. Come on. What are you waiting for?
I want him.
As soon as he cuts in into the box, puts the ball's got to go. Let it fly. He's like
this guy
thinking about passing, it seems.
Yeah.
Like,
this guy could be world class, Gary, if he just believes in his abilities or just takes on a little bit like you're saying Saka with Milner in the first half. Go at Milner, take him on. We need Martinelli to do the same thing.
And they needed to punish Milner enough that he would have to come off because he was going to
Mhm.
be dead on his feet. You know what I mean? Like dead
Um,
tired. And we
yeah,
didn't.
so that's the thing with Martinelli. I want to see him attacking more. And you're right. Even if we were trying to play a controlled game, we still have opportunities to break on teams late in the second half when they're getting tired as well. Um, we're 1-0 up, Gary, and the 82nd minute we have probably the only scare of the game. Pascal Gross miss from
Yes.
Brighton, 82
Yes.
minutes. Could have
Yes.
been different. We could be relieved that Liverpool only got a point today if
Yeah.
we come out of this with a 1-1. You know,
Yes.
criticism of Ben White. He's starting to let players run off of him and get
Yeah.
behind him.
Yeah. Ben White was start, and that's the thing. We talk about our center backs and stuff and not having any depth behind them, but our fullbacks now are like that. Like
Mhm.
today, not so much from Zinchenko as far as like I don't think there were too many scares that I remember from
Correct. Yeah.
Zinchenko, but
Yeah.
definitely off of that on that coming off of that left hand side of the attack, they were having a little bit too much fun.
From behind Ben White.
Hmm.
Yeah, and we only have Kivior, and if you want to bring a Rule Walters in, you could do that. But then you're, trying an untried player in the Premier League,
Hmm.
and Rico Lewis was found wanting a little bit yesterday at City. Um, yeah, so we got away with one there. Pascal Gross could have been 1-1.
Hmm.
83 minutes we had the break from Declan Rice. So Gross is ruining his miss. He's probably a little tired as well.
Hmm.
And Declan Rice does that shimmy in midfield, drives forward into the box and takes a shot on himself when possibly he could have squared the ball to Nketiah.
Hmm. Hmm.
I'm feeling nervous just because the points at home are valuable, Gary. You
Yep.
know,
Yep.
playing Brighton, having lost in controversial circumstances to Aston Villa. I mean, not controversial, just that we should have finished our dinner, right? Made this game more important for 3 points. You know,
Yep. Yep. Yep.
because we know we're going to Anfield, and that's going to be um, maybe a winner takes all. Although it wouldn't be the final,
No, but
like
we want to. We
it's early
don't. We'll go into Anfield as an opportunity to maybe steal a point. Go, all right, guys,
day.
welcome to the show.
Or set a marker down. Welcome,
Yeah,
Bargov.
yeah,
All right,
yeah.
we're gonna
Welcome
get to
to the show.
Havertz.
Yeah, yeah,
So I like the fact that Declan Rice is driving into boxes and trying to take shots as well. You know,
yeah.
he's
I
trying to
felt
add
like
that to his
that was.
game, Gary.
Yeah, I think that was necessary because he wasn't seeing it enough. Is what I believe.
Yeah,
It's like at some point it's like, okay, this isn't working. Whatever we're doing isn't working. Something needs to be different, and he took that opportunity to,
he's like the
attack.
engine. He's the engine of our team, and he's the pulse of our team. He
Hmm.
knows when, okay, we're not doing it. I need to inject something into this game,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
he's going to take this game on his shoulders. 105 million. It's not looking so bad now, is it?
No, no,
105
he's doing
million.
he's doing more. He's doing uh, some, and then more than that. For
Yeah.
us, um, it just for me, it's like we need to be. It'd be nice when we get it all clicking. Maybe
Mm.
we don't see it. Maybe we get through this window of time, right? We get to December before is it a winter break, right? That happens.
Winter break on the 7th of January for a couple of weeks.
So we can get to that winter break where now we can
Mm.
all settle down, and then maybe some players come back
Pick
or
a ball.
whatever. Maybe they
Yeah.
even bring in a player before we come back, because that'd be the perfect time to bring somebody in, right? Everybody's relaxing. You bring it like I think they go on a week break somewhere and practice, right?
Maybe
Typically, right?
go somewhere warm. Maybe, yeah.
Yeah. So if you do that, it'd be nice to be able to do that with, say, a Tony, say a Zubamendi, say
Mhm.
whatever play you want to bring in, because there's
Yeah.
been a lot of chatter about different players, like a 17-year-old player that they want to bring in, or a 19-year-old player, like some Brazilian players coming in. So that would be the perfect time to bring them in, get them, practicing and doing all those things with the players like we did with Vieira. Hopefully there's no like injuries concerns, and that we don't slow down their integration into the squad, right? Because I think I don't know how long Vieira is out for. Will he be back by the time we come back from the
Yeah.
winter break?
No,
But
haven't
like
heard much on
we
him.
need we need we need available players, right? Available players, and Vieira is one of them. If he's going to make it here, if he's going to make it here, he can make it anywhere, kind of thing. But if he's going to make it if he's going to make it here, he needs to.
I was thinking that when you said the start of
No, but like if Reece Nelson and
the
Emil Smith Rowe are like answers coming off the bench, Vieira has like if Emil Smith Rowe is who we think he is, that could put a little pressure on Vieira as far as getting
yeah,
minutes, right?
yeah,
So
definitely.
Reece
We've
Nelson
seen it.
should just get minutes in general because I think he's not going to get better not playing. So either you play him or you sell him. We're in that same situation again. Why are you holding on to Reece Nelson if you're not going to play him? He hasn't been injured that we know of.
He's getting more and more. He's
No,
getting
no,
some
he
minutes.
needs to be part of the rotation since yesterday.
Yeah,
No,
he's getting it.
since yet no, it's too slow. You need to have used him already. He should
He
just
played in Champions League game. He's had
yeah when
part.
we had nothing to play for, right? But
Well,
what I'm
yeah,
saying
but
is he needs to be part of the rotation, meaning not when a game doesn't matter anymore, right?
okay. Um, an important part of our rotation is Trossard. It
Mm-hmm,
comes on for Marinelli.
mm-hmm,
I don't know if you saw my tweet, but I enjoyed the fact that he brings the ball back inside of his own half, right in front of the Zerbi, his former coach, and he slips the ball inside the Erdegaard through midfield. And Harvard's goal comes about because of Trossard's engineered pass to Erdegaard opens things up.
mm-hmm,
Eddie Nketiah gets the ball, and he's got two options: Bukayo Saka to his right or Havertz closer to
mm-hmm,
him down the left, and he plays a really good pass.
mm-hmm.
The Havertz, I was slightly concerned about offside. I know it was quite tight, but thankfully there wasn't really any check. Havertz is through in goal. I think Rice was through in goal before, but Havertz makes it. As you said, Gary, exactly as my notes. He shoots it between the body and the legs of the goalkeeper, and a nice goal at the end of the day for Havertz.
Yeah, yeah.
And look, I don't know what he's on now 5, 6, 7 goals, something like
Who's
that.
that? Who?
Havertz,
Havertz? He's on
yeah, he's got
five goal contributions.
it.
I think 4 goals in the league.
So he's
So
getting close to Nketiah and Saka numbers now,
well,
right?
he's
For the
like
team.
halfway. He's halfway there.
Yeah, he's halfway
Uh,
there.
yeah, and
And
that was.
I asked the question. I set the marker of 10. I'm one of those people who said 10. For Havertz would be a decent return. 10 goals and whatever assists would come from that. And he's halfway there now, but it looks like he's starting to feel the groove now, Gary. He's starting to feel comfortable at Arsenal.
No, he looks like he's more comfortable. I want him a little bit more. I would like to see him more engaged in there. As you said, he makes that really nice pass to. Oh wait, who made that pass? The pass
Eddie.
to who makes the pass to Eddie? Is that Zinchenko?
Erdegaard.
Erdigo makes that right. Yeah, yeah. Sorry, I can't see on
No.
this little screen here, but yeah, and Kedia is part of this build-up. He makes the pass, as soon as he can, and boom, nice one there. So yeah,
I have a friend in Ireland who's a Chelsea fan, and he said he's still an average player, but
who?
Havertz,
Oh, you know what? Like I said, I had
that's
given up.
Chelsea,
I had given up, like expecting him to be um,
world beater.
somebody who's going to make us forget Xhaka immediately. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? Like it didn't happen. So for me, it's like
it's a slow transition,
I'm
right?
fine to wait for it. And as soon, like I said, as soon as I said I'm fine to it, he's starting to pick up. So maybe he just needed time. I just
Mm-hmm.
don't think he needed to have all those minutes under his belt trying to figure out how to play for Arsenal. I think he just needed to build into that situation. And the fact when he started kind of moving Trossard in and out of the lineup, that kind of gave Havertz time to kind of build on each performance that he's had, and he's been doing that better and better. And I think he had something different than Trossard. So one because of his size, and two, he's able to play out there and put a shot in. Trossard can do the same, but I think he just adds something different. We have a taller player, and he can, in the air threat, we want to see more of that, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
he gives us that as well. So we don't depend on him. I don't want to have to depend on him much for defense because I think that's where I think he gets into trouble
I
with
mean,
me.
we saw this last season. We
Mm,
defending and attacking. We got a lot of contributions from a lot of different areas
mm,
in the team, and looks like we're doing that as well this season. We're not over reliant on any one player.
mm.
Goals can come from anywhere.
Yes.
So, yeah, we don't have to rely on Havertz for
Yeah.
all of the goals, and we don't have to rely on Saka, for instance, on all of the
Yeah.
goals.
Yeah.
I'd like Erdegaard to take that shot a little bit more when he has that situation in front
Yeah.
of him.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and I
And
would like
like you said, like Saka's got 19 goal contributions now. I would
great
like to think he'll get over 40 by the time the season's done.
halfway, yeah,
Right?
because look,
He's only going to
well,
play. He's only playing. We haven't even played half the number of games that we
yeah,
will play in the season. So I
and
expect
we're
it to. But here's the thing. I would like it not to have to be that he has to have over 40 because what he doesn't have to play as much,
yeah,
right? So
yeah.
then those numbers will come from hopefully somebody else, be it Jesus, be it Nelson. You know,
I mean, it'd be nice if we didn't have to rely on Bukayo Saka, but we do have some hot games coming up against
no,
Liverpool.
these important games he's going to have to play. But I
Um,
just mean we want, like you said, spread it around.
we're going to face Liverpool. This is crazy, Gary. We're going to face Liverpool 3 times in 39 days.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
By a weird scheduling, whatever glitch it is. We're
Yeah.
playing Liverpool on Saturday,
Yeah.
and then we will play them approximately 2 weeks later in the FA Cup at the
Yeah.
Emirates,
Yeah.
and then we meet them again early February
Yep.
3rd, I think it is.
Yep.
I think there's only a matter of 5 league games between the two meetings in the league
Yep.
itself.
We played in week 18 and in week 23 with a
Yeah.
Grey Cup in the
So,
middle.
I mean, here's the good. There is good in that because we're going to get those two contests out
Yeah.
of the way, and then it's a straight fight to the finish.
Yeah. We
You
play.
know,
It's funny because, like you said, we play. We play Brighton. We just played Brighton, so we play Liverpool. Then we have 2 matches before we play Liverpool in the cup. Come
hmm
back from the break, we play 2 games and we play Liverpool. So we kind of get a chance to kind of build into this one. Like
hmm balance. Yeah,
PSV was like, it didn't really matter, but we
yeah,
came out, we were able to hold on and get a draw.
yeah.
Brighton, really tough match. We had never beaten them at home. Like we had beaten them once
A
in
few
whatever
years.
four
Yeah,
times in the last
yeah.
4 times. So we needed to get over that hump. Did it. Now we play them. Right.
They've
No,
been our
no fun.
bogey team.
No fun at Anfield. Right.
No fun at
No,
Anfield.
no
No,
fun at Anfield.
I
So
think we
we
can
need
have
to
fun.
we need to have some fun in Anfield now.
Um, look at Man United today at Anfield. They had
Mm,
some grass to run into, especially in
mm,
that second half,
mm,
counter-attacking. I'm trying to imagine Arsenal next Saturday, and I know it's going to be a different game, but
mm.
we will have opportunities as well, and
Yeah.
Liverpool fans will um, understand who Declan Rice is because I think you get caught up in your own club too much, and you don't maybe see what other clubs are doing. So they're Liverpool underestimate Arsenal. They feel they're going to fall away.
Hmm.
I I don't think that's going to happen this season. We're going to be
Yeah.
there
We
till the
need
end.
to. We talk about it all the time. We need to score early.
Yeah,
Well, that will be a game where if we can score early, we can not only quiet the crowd, but maybe put a little doubt into their minds.
yeah.
Like seriously, put some doubts in their mind because we know that we create more than enough opportunities for ourselves. So scoring on them early would be really good. It would be really
Um,
nice.
so room for improvement, as we said. Jesus, Martinelli, and Saka
Mm,
with Odegaard. Now they're starting to get a run of games. We haven't been able to put those four on the field for much of this season.
mm,
I feel now they're starting to get um, a rhythm into their game now. Saka, Martinelli was impactful today, but his end product was lacking a little bit. Erdegaard,
hmm.
very busy, very busy. Had that great shot on his left foot as well,
Hmm.
searching for that goal for his birthday.
Yep.
And but please, Martin, try your right foot once in a while as well.
Yep.
Um, Jesus is always going to be effective and try. And we know Saka, what Saka's going to do for us. So, your man in the match, Gary. We're going to get out of here in a few minutes, but you're a man in the match for
that's
today.
I haven't even thought about that.
Declan Rice.
Yeah,
Declan Rice.
It's weird because I kind of felt like between like Bukayo Saka and Martinelli, they both did a lot. Put a lot of pressure on that back line.
Yeah,
they really did. And Jesus was able to score on us being able to put pressure on them. But like it's hard to give it to any one of those three.
Let me know what you think in the comments section. Let me know what you think.
The midfield, like you said, Declan Rice, and I wasn't.
I said Declan Rice,
and I was.
It's too easy though, isn't it?
He gets it.
Too easy to say Declan Rice every time.
Get it any time, and it's. Oh man,
pick someone else then, Gary. Come on.
Yeah,
pick one.
No.
5, 4.
I'm gonna go
3,
with
2, 1. Pick.
I'm gonna go with it's you know what? It's really
William Saliba, Gabriel.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go.
Evan Ferguson was quiet.
Yeah,
how about a center back?
Yeah, I'm gonna go. Yeah, I was thinking. I was looking at that, and I was looking at Gabriel or Saliba. Between the two of them, I think between the two of them, I will pick one. But like I said,
Gabriel piss Alonso off.
This was a all-around game from that front three for me. The center backs did good. Rice always does good. It's hard for me. I don't really want to give it to any one person because I think there was good reasons for all 6 players that I just named to be part of that. I think the ones that produce, Gabriel did produce. Because he had opportunities to score and he didn't, and he did get a chance and he took it with the header. But as a whole, the way the game went, I think it's easy to, Declan Rice, I think the middle kind of joining the back line and the front line together, easy to give it to Declan Rice in this situation, more because it's spread around.
You're taking a long time to get to your answer here.
Yeah, Declan Rice. I'm mumbling. I'm rambling. Sorry.
Are you that guy in the restaurant who takes forever to pick what you want?
I don't like to be that guy.
But you are.
It happens sometimes.
And everyone's like, the waitress has to come back 4 different times.
No, I'm not that guy, but I definitely can be a little bit like, what do I want? I want it all sometimes.
You want to make the right choice. When it comes to food, you want to make the right choice. You don't want to be looking at your wife's dish and say, I like to look at that one. You know what I mean?
You're right about that.
Hello, Ray, Gary, and everyone. So, Gary, I put 2-0 down when I was setting up the podcast. I put 2-0 down. I did predict a 2-1 win, but 2-0, I predicted that, so I didn't have to change that banner. Thank you very much.
Very nice.
And I went ahead and put the W in there as well for today because we had to have this W.
Yeah, I talk about it all the time. Like I think there's 3 goals in us, and definitely there were 3 goals in us in this first half. We didn't see it, but we did get the 2, and 2 goals should guarantee us a good chance.
2-0, 2-0, a clean sheet. I'd have to look at it. I think I'll do some research for Thursday. How many clean sheets we've had this season? I don't think there'll be a ton of them. Whereas last season, I remember Reddy saying we had a ton of clean sheets, particularly away from home. But it's nice to. Following on from Villa, Villa doesn't feel like a defeat, but we lost at Villa. Following on from there,
you got 11 clean sheets. So
in the league,
in the league, that's all together. Let's see in the league. Quick refresh here in the league. Not let's see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 out of 17. Bad. So
that's not terrible. 7 out of 17. We'll do more of a deep dive on that on Thursday. Look, Arsenal have dropped only 12 points, where you're looking at dropping a maximum of 24 in the season. You got 114 available. If you want to hit that 90 mark, 24 is where you need to be in terms of dropping points. Obviously, would like to drop way less than 24, but we're ahead of other teams being top of the league now. So this is good. This is good. Any final points, Gary, before we get out of here?
No, I know we need to head out of here, and I have to go do some grocery shopping with the boss. So there you go.
Is it raining in your area?
It is. Yeah, it's wet outside.
It's wet outside, so it's one of those horrible December evenings. But things are looking bright for Arsenal, and we got the results this weekend that we needed. Gary, you're gonna have a show tomorrow night.
Yeah, I have a show tomorrow night, or I'm gonna try to attend. I have some things I have to do, and but yeah, so the show will be on tomorrow night. Check us out, 7:30, 12:30 a.m. for you guys in the UK. The trip.
All right, great. Check out the trip. We will be on Thursday Night Forum previewing Liverpool, and I'm going to feel a little bit better about it after this weekend. You know, Anfield doesn't have to be that scary place that you go to. You know,
we've been there. We know what the dangers are. We've seen the last 2 seasons. It's been really painful, and then kind of really painful for a good reason. So
when you look, I suppose when you look at the transition of the players, they lost their 4-0 when Klopp and Arteta squared up to each other with the likes of Aubameyang in the team, who gave up the first goal. We really should have beaten them last season, so we can go there knowing we're a much better team, and we've added players like Havertz and Declan Rice to the team as well, and we're better. All right. Thanks, everybody, for joining us.
Merry Christmas to Russ. He said we might not see him again until after.
Who's that?
Russ. So we might not see him until after the Christmas.
Russ going somewhere nice. He's going somewhere warm, probably. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I'm sure from around next week. So happy Christmas. Yeah. 'Tis the season of goodwill to all. So yes, hope everybody has a good Christmas if we're not talking to them. And Gary, we're out of here. Thanks for joining. We'll see you on the next one, maybe on Thursday, Gary. Take care.
Yep, definitely.
Take care, everybody.